Hi, I'm Virginia, and welcome to the Health Creators Podcast, where we talk about the impact and business of being a health creator. Here with me today is Dr. Suraj, also known as Dr. Sooj. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So let's just get straight in. Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Suraj, but I go by Dr. Sooj because it's just a nickname that friends and family call me. And I'm a GP in the NHS. I also work in the emergency room, and I've been creating content on social media for a couple of years, and it's just really enjoyable. Helping to educate the public. It makes me a better doctor as well. But more than that, I actually just love it because when you're self-employed as a GP, the learning opportunities are not as readily available as they were, let's say, when I was at med school or when I was a trainee. But now, I just learn so much. And then it makes me really happy if I've made a video about a condition, and then a few weeks later, a patient asks me about that exact condition in the consultation, and my explanation of it is just so much simpler and easier and just better for the patient in terms of their own health literacy, because I'm able to give an explanation which doesn't involve just a load of jargon, which is really helpful.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, why did you start creating health education videos even before you found the benefits that you have now?
I noticed that through COVID, there was just so much misinformation. I remember I was working in the community at the time, and we just weren't getting that much information from the higher ups. It was all delayed. I think people that were working in acute hospital trusts were getting the information on the front line because they were seeing all of the really, really unwell patients. But when I was working out in the community, things weren't filtering down as effectively. So there was a lot of stuff that people were reading online on social media, in the news, and it was difficult to discern what was true and what wasn't. So then I was getting information from my friends, my partner, and was using that to help create guidelines within my hospital trust. So it was the first time I really got alerted to the rise of misinformation. Then I thought, well, the only way to try and combat that is to have credible health voices on the platform, on social media platforms in general. And then as I was revising for one of my exams a couple of years ago, I found that if I came across something interesting, I would just try and make a video about it. And by doing that, it helped me cement that knowledge in my mind. And it also produced interesting content for the public, because I was talking about things that would affect lots of people and many people at some point in their lives. So I think those benefits that on a personal level from creating content actually came very early on.
Brilliant. So, what is your process to create health videos? How did you go from not knowing how to create a video to everything that you're doing now?
My early videos were not that good, as I'm sure most people's aren't. But I just started, and that's kind of the most important thing. And you and I have spoken about this before. It's just, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. My first videos, I spoke about things that I knew about. Actually, no, that's a lie. My first videos were me rolling around on my floor, showing people how to do different stretches to help with lower back pain, chest pain, hip pain, because that's what I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in the musculoskeletal side of things. And since then, my interests have developed. But that is what I was doing at the start, and I really, really found it helpful for me, because it meant that, okay, I'm breaking it down now into, these are 3 exercises that can help you if you've got really stiff lower back. And then I moved on to kind of more health educational videos. And I've made about 1,500 videos now, but I still keep in my drafts one of my really early videos as a reminder for how far my content has come. And back then, if I watched that video, I'm speaking really slowly, It looks like my eyes are drooping and looks like I'm half asleep. There's no personality in the video. But at the time I thought it was amazing. But I just posted the video and it was fine. But since then, the content has come a long way. And as I said, doing it off the back of helping me revise just gave me a constant, steady stream of content, because it was a case of, I've learned about this condition. That's quite interesting. Here's something that people may not know about it. And then I would just do it as educational things in that way. Now, someone will mention something. I might hear someone talk about something. I might see something in the news. And I'm more confident. It's taken me 2 years to get to this point, but I'm more confident now in just being able to talk rather than scripting a video and spending hours and hours scripting a video. But I don't make long videos. I still make fairly short form content. My videos are always under a minute and a half long. Sometimes they're a bit longer, but I've learned to trust my own personal knowledge. I will check things against current NICE guidelines, current accepted knowledge. But I still remember so much from med school, which I'm very grateful that I'm able to remember that information. But so many people won't know it. And then another way that I come up with these ideas is during a clinic and patients that I'm seeing, if anyone asks something which I think, that will probably help quite a few people, I will make a note, and then at the end of my sessions, so at the end of my day, I'll stay at work for another hour and a half to 2 hours, and I will just film and film and film. So I don't do it during the day at work because it will interrupt my own workflow. I just I'll get through all my patients, and then in my clinic room, I'll sit there and I will just stay for another couple of hours and I'll film. Perfect example was, I saw a mum and her son dealt with their issues. They were fine. As they were about to walk out, it's like the classic doorknob question. It was as they were leaving. The mum said, his brother burst his eardrum while we were on holiday last week. Is there anything that we need to do? And generally, the answer is no. But that's something that will happen to quite a lot of people, and particularly in kids, because they're more likely to get the infections of the middle ear. They're more likely to burst their eardrum off the back of an infection. So once I finished my session that day, I just made a video about that, and it did quite well. But that information seems like it should be fairly common knowledge because I've seen so many people with it in the past. But now, what I've learned is that type of knowledge is not common knowledge. People don't really know. People can Google it and they might be able to find out the information, but then it brings in another element of kind of health and online media literacy in knowing what is accurate and what isn't.
I really like that phrase that you said, a typical doorknob question, when it's just like, one more thing. We've just had a whole consultation, but one more thing, just one more question. And I think also the way you create content and your resources, as in your actual consultations that you have and your real life experiences, they really speak to kind of the content gaps that are out there. So, I'm pretty sure that when you qualify as a doctor or even as a medical student, you're already seen as a beacon of knowledge at home, and everyone starts asking you medical questions and they expect you to know everything, the answer to everything. But the thing is that there's a lot of knowledge that you think is quite common because you get the same queries all the time, and then that information isn't out there, and then you can give the answer in a relatable way, in a way that is correct because you're the clinician, you're the source of authority, and then people can actually find that information so other people can benefit from the answer to those questions. So it's really great to hear that you actually create your videos in the moment, so spending that extra 1 or 2 hours at the end of your workday to just make it happen and fitting it in around your doctor duties. So would you say you do that every day, or do you have certain days? What's your schedule like?
I will do it most days after work, depending on whether or not I'm working that day. But yeah, I will. But I batch film my content. I mean, I post so much. I'm currently posting about 4 videos a day, every single day. And off the back of that, there has to be some rigidity. I generally do need to film every day, but in, for example, a 1.5 hour session after clinic, I could probably film 10 to 15 videos, which then means that that's my content for the next few days. The other way that I get content ideas is people ask questions. I get about 1.5 to 2,000 comments a day on my videos, which means that there is a constant, steady stream of things that people want to know. And I read through pretty much all of my comments, and I flag the ones where I could make a video about it and I could do something educational, make some content. And then for those ones, for example, it's a bit cloudy now, but it was sunny this morning. But my plan is this afternoon, I'll just take a walk in the park with my microphones, probably film 10 to 15 videos in that time. And a lot of this stuff is it's bread and butter general practice work. And it's in response to a video that I've made. So I kind of already know the topics, which makes it a lot easier to trust my own knowledge, because it's things that I see and deal with kind of all day, every day.
So as a follow-up to that question, how long does it take you to edit a video and then upload it and then write a description? And what do you enjoy the most about the kind of editing process? What's your editing style?
Minimal. As minimalistic as possible. I just talk now. And that's because of some advice I was given. Where it was just where the person told me, you know the information. You don't need to script it. Make it. And also, I think there's a shift away from retention editing, which is where you have lots of cutaways, lots of like B-roll, so other videos, lots of other pictures flashing up. But in order for me to be able to make as much content as I'm making, if I was editing all of my videos in that style, which I did do about 7 months ago, I went through a period of 2 months where I was making all of my videos like really highly edited. It just takes ages. It would take 30 to 45 minutes to find to go from start to finish for filming, which usually takes up to 5 minutes for a 1 minute video, and then finding the B-roll, finding the photos, making sure that everything has permissions, and then editing all of that stuff into the video. That takes a long time. That then would become that it wouldn't be sustainable to be able to do that with as much content as I want to put out. So off the back of that, I just talk. If I make a mistake, I'll refilm that small segment, and then I just essentially top and tail it. So I just shorten all of the gaps between the short clips, and then post it. And then coming up with a caption is purely just me saying, well, it's just putting the question that I'm answering at the front, at the top. I try and now do it in a more searchable way. For example, recently I did some videos on the combined oral contraceptive pill, migraines, and strokes. And what people are asking in the comments that I'm answering, I then just write that as the caption, do 4 or 5 hashtags, and then post it. But so that part of it doesn't take that long. But I do put captions on all of my videos, and making sure that the spellings are all correct. That's the bit that can take a bit of time, particularly if it's a slightly longer video. But overall, now it's probably about 20 minutes start to finish, which I think is okay. But I do it all in batches. So I will film loads of videos in one go. And then, I don't know, let's say it's an evening, my other half isn't here. Let's say she's gone to play sports or something. Then I will, if I'm just sitting on the sofa doing nothing, I don't know why that thumbs up has come up. if I'm just sitting on the TV sitting on the couch watching TV, I will just I'll edit a bunch of videos, and then I'll think about when I'm going to post them. So I do it in batches. It's not a case of I sit down for 30 minutes in one go and do a whole video. It's no, I fit it around the other things that I want to do in my day.
Amazing. So, where do you post all of your videos, and do you use something to distribute your videos to all the different platforms, or do you go and individually post each video to each platform?
My workflow could probably be more efficient, but I do different videos on different platforms now. My main platform is TikTok. My second platform now is YouTube. My third would be Instagram. And what I've started to do is post videos. TikTok are pushing longer form content, so I'm now making videos that are over a minute long for TikTok. I then shorten them to under a minute to go onto YouTube Shorts. And then that one I usually post that shorter video on Instagram as well. Sometimes I will also post the longer 1 minute video onto YouTube. And then when I post it as a short, it has an option where it says, is this video related to something else? And then I relate it to the longer video. But sometimes the difference in those videos is only 10 seconds, which it's not really worth linking in that way. But my long form videos, I don't make thumbnails. I went through a period of really trying to script those videos, film myself, make thumbnails, really think about everything, and it just wasn't working for me. For some people it really works and they're great on camera. Like your videos are fantastic because you've really put the time into it. I put the time into the shorter form content. So again, if I had to make 5 thumbnails a day, that's just not suitable. I'm also not very creative. So the way that I do it works for me. And my thumbnails are absolute rubbish. And I know they're rubbish because they don't convert. And I've tried lots of different styles. I've tried to take inspiration from lots of different people. None of it works. Interestingly, the videos which I post without a thumbnail actually outperform the ones that have a thumbnail. So I've just given up on them. It is what it is. If the longer form videos do well, great. Shorts is probably my priority because it's more my style of content. And then on Instagram, I actually have no idea what's happening with the algorithm on Instagram. It's just, I don't know how people post and get big across multiple platforms. It blows my mind. I find it such a struggle because the audiences are so different. And my YouTube is only now growing at the moment because I've got one video that's taking off, but who knows what's actually going to happen. That might stop and then it will just all come crashing down again.
So just for the audience, if they're unfamiliar, thumbnails are specifically for YouTube. And so you would create a kind of rectangle picture called a thumbnail. That would be the cover sheet for your video. So people will see that before they click on it. And if you don't create a thumbnail, so a picture to put on top of your video cover, then YouTube will just pick one of the frames from your video, and that will be the thumbnail image. So it's interesting to hear that the non-thumbnailed videos are doing well on YouTube. And also it's really interesting to hear that you make platform specific videos. So even if you're creating one video, you try to make it so that it is made for the platform. So whether that's making it shorter or, giving it a thumbnail or not. And also the hashtags and all the things that you add to it. So I think in response to I don't know how people get big across all platforms. I think maybe they have teams or they use distribution kind of software. So things where you put a video and then it can choose where you distribute it to. But then again, that's another learning curve. And I think, am I right in saying that you kind of just enjoy the process and you're doing it for fun and you're kind of seeing where it goes and you're seeing the personal benefit and that's what keeps you going?
I love learning. I just love learning. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And then being the secondary benefit of being able to break down complicated concepts into simple short videos that's the thing that makes me a better doctor. And that's the real benefit of making content. But for me, I just love learning. So the two go hand in hand. And that is where the enjoyment comes from. And what's really interesting is, as a doctor, lots of friends and family will ask random health questions. And those random health questions that people ask are the same things that people ask in my comments. So by researching it for the comments in my videos, I then learn, and I'm able to just give people quick, simple explanations in real life as well, which helps. And then it pays off with my patients as well. Sometimes it can take its toll. Like I went through, also it depends on what's going on in my life. And so a couple of weeks ago, it was my brother-in-law's wedding, which was incredible. That weekend, wasn't going to film content. And then the following week, I worked 9 sessions. So I was working full-time the following week. And again, I just wasn't in the frame of mind to want to just create loads and loads and loads of content. So I created less content, and that was also fine. For me, as long as I'm posting at least one video a day, that makes me happy. And there's usually a bank of videos that I've filmed, which I haven't posted. So at the moment in my drafts, there are 7. I think there's 7 videos that I've made. I haven't edited them. I don't think they're not I don't think they're incredible videos. So every time I want to go and post it, I just think, okay, well, I've got something better to post. But in those times where I really don't want to make any content, I have those other videos to fall back on, and they can vary in the information is accurate, but it's just the performance of the videos I know is probably not going to be amazing. But then that doesn't bother me because I'm still getting accurate health information out there. And then one of the other benefits of it was that it's taught me how to public speak a bit better, and how to come across in a bit more of a friendlier and more genuine way, probably. And then to top that off, I mean, I did TED Talk last year, which was incredible. But off the back of that, while I was preparing my speech and I'm basically preparing to deliver my talk, we had a couple of sessions with RADA, so the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. And that was phenomenal because that taught me how important storytelling is in teaching and learning. And since then, I've really tried to incorporate that into my video style, where I will reflect on patients that I've seen, obviously keeping everything confidential, but I'll try and reflect on something that's happened and then use that as a way to, as a stepping stone to then teach about a condition. And that helps my communication in general as well.
Brilliant. I love that. I love that you are constantly developing, you have that thirst for knowledge and learning, and that's translating into your kind of development as the way that you present yourself, the way that you do your work as a doctor. So what are your top tips for health creators who want to get started?
So one of my friends called Pharmacist Virginia actually did a LinkedIn post saying that the best time to start making content was yesterday, and the next best time to start is today. Just start. As long as the information is accurate, no one really cares what about the quality of it. And I can give you a perfect example. I did a little test run on myself. If what you're saying is important and valuable, then people will watch it. So I did a video sitting on the floor of this room. The video was blurry. All I had was my microphone. So the sound quality was good. Sound quality is better than video quality. But I just wanted to test this theory for myself. The video is blurry. It's a 2.5 minute video on TikTok. The background is just a bit everywhere. I've got 1.1 million views. And it's a blurry video. That blew my mind. But that's because the information was valuable and valid and would help a lot of people. So people watched it, despite the fact that the video was blurry. And that was, also, that wasn't a scripted video. That was just me talking at a camera for 2.5 minutes. So just start. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The most important thing is to try and create a habit-forming behavior. So for me, it's always been minimum viable product. What is the minimum viable product? That's how I was able to film so many videos in such a short period of time and then just post them. When I first started creating content, I was posting 4 videos a day. When a video started taking off, when the algorithm's working in your favor, post. I would then start posting 7 a day for a week until that spike started dipping a bit. Then I'd go back to 4 a day. When I was actually in the throes of the weeks or couple of months leading up to my professional exams, at that point I would then reduce it down to 1 a day. Sometimes I didn't post, but I probably count on one hand the number of days I haven't posted in the last 2 years. So, but that's because I've created that habit now. Now I can just film a video. I had a hockey match last Monday, and well, no, it's just that I filmed the video in my car. That was it. Didn't have a microphone, didn't have anything. It was just a minimum viable product. It doesn't really matter the background. It doesn't matter anything else. Just if you have something to say, just say it. Sorry.
There's no need to apologize. I think that your drive to create videos daily is really just so admirable, and it shows your passion for wanting to put things out there into the world that people can benefit from, and you're enjoying the process. And I think you say you're not a creative person, but there is a creative person in you that's doing all of this. You are creating all of these videos, and I'm sure, you know, one day you might feel like, actually, I want to go back to creating better thumbnails. And you also told me recently that you want to get into editing on desktop rather than editing on your phone. So I'm really looking forward to what skills you develop through that. So thank you so much for taking the time today to talk about your experience. And I look forward to seeing more of your videos as usual. Any final words?
Just start making content if that's what you want to do. That's it. There's no hard and fast rules. You make incremental changes over a longer period of time, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah, just get better with each video. Thank you so much, Suraj, Dr. Sooj. Check out his stuff. I'll leave some links in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching or listening, and we'll see you at the next episode. Bye.
Thank you. I forgot what your actual question was.
I can't remember either.
That's fine.
What did I ask
We'll
you?
assume that that's okay.
We'll assume it was okay. I asked you something about how often do you record? Do you do that every day? What's your schedule? Yeah, that was yeah. So that answers the question. So most days is the answer, basically.